coming to you from North Mesa, not super far away. Super grateful for this invitation, and I was really delighted to find, as I started to prepare for it, that the founder of Citizens Climate Lobby, the organization that I'm here representing, was actually a distinguished Rotarian in his day in the 90s in the Coronado chapter in California. And this is a quote of his that I think really exemplifies the service orientation that he brought from Rotary in founding this organization, that it's really up to us to take care of the important things, right? Nobody's off the hook from doing that. And many other Citizens Climate Lobby, CCLers, as we call them, have used the four-way test to motivate interest and engagement in climate advocacy through Citizens Climate Lobby, right? So we know that climate change is the truth. We know that it's not fair, right? The people who are suffering the most are the most vulnerable, right? Are the least able to deal with what's happening. It will absolutely build goodwill and better friendships to address this problem, to do what we need to do to preserve a livable world for all of us, and that will be beneficial to all concerned, to everybody on the planet, right? And so I will talk about at the end, there's even one particular Citizens Climate Lobby member who's founded this environmental sustainability Rotary Action Group that's made up of chapters from all over the country, right? So even though I wasn't super familiar with the Rotary Club, when I got this invitation, I've come to found with it. There's a lot in common, and that made me even more excited to be with you all today. So I want to talk about not just what we do, but how we do it, so some of the values that we bring to our work. So number one, we're focused primarily on federal climate advocacy in a few key policy areas that I'll mention, but they all directly or indirectly contribute to reducing carbon emissions. Not that there aren't other climate priorities, but those are the ones that we choose to focus on so we can have the most impact in those areas. We bring optimism to this task. We absolutely do not think that it's too late to have a positive impact, and I think that transmitting that, inspiring other people to have optimism is one of the most important things we do. We work with the broadest possible coalition of people, right? Republicans and Democrats alike are going to suffer the longer we postpone solving this problem, right? People who look every single kind of way, come from every single part of the country. We're all in the same boat, right? So we all join together in as big a coalition as possible. I'm happy it makes us better at what we do, but also because in the situation that we're in, it's extremely hard to get very partisan legislation through Congress, even now, right? We see a kind of a trifecta with one party controlling the presidency and both chambers of Congress, right? But still hasn't accomplished 100% that they can use to be effective in this. And I definitely have some suggestions about that for you all as individuals and a chapter. In terms of the kinds of activities that we engage on, so because we're interested in federal climate policy, right, ultimately it all goes back to influencing Congress, right? So there's an L in CCL for a reason. We have lobby meetings with members of Congress and their staff twice a year. As I've already mentioned, we do a number of other things to influence our members of Congress. So putting things in the media about getting involved with this topic in general, also about specific policies that we're interested in. Not only do other voters like you read them, but our members of Congress absolutely read them as well. Brass tops engagement is more like influencing the influencers in your community, important leaders and organizations, building relationships and coalitions with them. Maybe we're working on the start of that today, right? Between CCL New Mexico and the Rotary chapter of Los Alamos. And then also grassroots outreach, one-on-one conversations, tabling, did a lot of that a couple weeks ago for Earth Day. And then everything that goes into developing groups and chapters in the state. So I didn't introduce myself in too much detail, but I'm the state coordinator for the one group in the state of New Mexico, right? So I engage people across the state and try and keep us working together and working as a machine to get things done. So I've got just a few snapshots of some of these activities, right? So we do virtual lobbying meetings. We also go in the summer. There are 3 high schoolers in that photo with me, graduating seniors, 1 actually junior and then 2 graduating seniors, getting to work with the high school students. So far, just high schoolers here in Los Alamos is definitely the most fun I get to have in this work, and I think they're really evidence that the school is taking that civic engagement component really, really seriously by supporting students and doing things like this. When we're there, I did mention we have 4 main policy areas. I'm not going to go into them in too much detail because we don't have a ton of time, but they basically relate to putting a price on carbon, federal permitting form to get clean energy infrastructure built faster, building electrification and efficiency, so reducing emissions that come from buildings, which are a major source of emissions, and then healthy forests, so protecting all the forests we've got, hopefully getting more. That also hits close to home in a state with such big concerns about fire danger, right? Grassroots outreach, doing some tables, different presentations, and workshops. During election season, that takes on a voter outreach sort of flavor. So we'll do things like voter bank with like vote forward. So it's totally nonpartisan. We just send things out to register voters, including having them vote. So those some action shots from writing letters, and then also our Los Alamos High School Eco Club invited candidates for county council to ask them questions about their different climate policies as a voter education activity. Media relations, so doing things like giving interviews, writing things in the media. That's another one of our amazing high schoolers. Grass tops engagement, some things we've done in the past. So meetings with a number of different important influencers or organizations, including that's a presentation from the school board. High schoolers are featured a lot in this presentation because they're amazing. And then, yeah, developing the group, we do some social activities. That's one from a couple weeks ago. And we also have a statewide Zoom call that I would love to see you all at anytime. That's just the next one, but it's always the 3rd Thursday of the month, every month. So what we're working on right now, and then I'm almost done, and maybe we can chat for a couple minutes. So the major national priority is the budget reconciliation process is going on. So what that means is all of the different committees, this is going to happen in the House first, all of the different committees are going to come back with their proposal for what they want to either increase or decrease spending on, and all of that gets reconciled into a big bill that later has to be voted on, and that same process has to happen in the Senate, right? That's going to take a super long time. What we don't want them to do is get rid of the clean energy tax credits that were passed in 2022 that have been enormously beneficial to New Mexico and all over the country, right? We don't want them to cut that to save money that they want for something else. In the summer, there are 2 pieces of legislation that I'm honestly not at all informed on yet, but I know that they're the Foreign Pollution Fee Act and the Fix Our Forests Act. Could talk about those at a super high level if you're interested. And then federal permitting reform, right? That's another one. The party that's in control is very interested in building new stuff, and as it so happens, we need to build a lot of stuff, right? So I personally see that one as an extremely viable place to make progress at the federal level. And then we're going to continue to build political will, get out there, talk to people, inspire and motivate them to action, like I'm certainly trying to do now. And so with that, so as I mentioned, if you are going to make donations, which is so generous, we do have 2 graduates of Los Alamos High School who are now ending their freshman and sophomore year in university, respectively. They would like to join us at the Capitol and make Los Alamos, make New Mexico proud, meeting with our members of Congress this year. You'll also enter a raffle to win a free t-shirt. I would be happy to enter the entire membership in the raffle. And then I just want to say, because you have this National Rotary Action Group, you have a ton of different resources for choosing environmental service projects, and I'd actually like to propose one to you all that I'm interested to work on. So September 20th, 21st, there's a national call for different kinds of action because it is the vernal equinox, and a similar thing has been done in past. It's kind of like Earth Day 2.0. The SRAG, I'm not sure if that's what they call it, but that's what I'll call it. They already have these resources on an eco-enthusiasm sustainability expo. I think generating that enthusiasm and optimism is so important right now. It would be an amazing opportunity for us to connect New Mexicans with opportunities for volunteering, service, civic engagement, and it's also a really big statement to our legislators that amongst all of the priorities that are competing for their attention right now, climate is still it, right? If we don't fix this, not a whole lot else we're doing is going to matter, and that's actually what motivated Marshall Saunders to emerge from Rotary Club and found Citizens Climate Lobby. He was really interested in poverty. Like, all of his service activities were alleviating poverty and economic inequality, and he realized that if we don't do something about climate, nothing I'm working on is going to make a difference, right? And so this statement that this needs to be a priority for our legislators, I think is so needed right now. There's so much competing for their attention, and there's so much discouragement and frustration in general. So if that's something you all are interested in, I would love to partner with you all on it. And with that, yeah, got some extra things, and would love to answer any questions. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was going to say, Rotary has an international conference this year in July. In June. It's going to be in Calgary, in Canada, and SRAG will be there. All the action groups attend this kind of meeting.
Amazing.
And I will make a point of going and visiting them and talking to them. And I just wondered if there's anything that I can tell them about you or bring back here, or is there anything in particular I can, questions you'd like me to ask?
Are you going to be available after to connect with her so you can do that?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wanted to give you my card so I can email out about bottle caps too.
Oh,
So I have a newsletter.
Oh,
I would love to put that on my
fantastic.
So I noticed you're focused on the federal level, and in the context where you are and where you're going to be over the next 3.5 years, you have a challenge. So the two-part question. One, do you have a plan for how do you pivot to those states to strengthen what you have within states who are extremely supportive of what you're doing while you wait for this time to pass? And then let's just do a what if. Let's say everyone in this hemisphere, Western Europe aligns, we're good to go. What is the plan, or what's your link at the international level? Because let's face it, India, China, Russia decide to keep all ahead full. Basically everyone else is screwed. So 2 parts to that. Do you have a pivot and work directly with states to work that, and were you integrated at the international or world level?
Yeah. So I'm not sure I'm going to make you super happy with my response. We're focused on the federal level, and it's not that there aren't important things going on at the state level, but those are chosen on a super case-by-case basis, and when they're very transparently compatible with our federal priorities, right? And same thing internationally. And I also and I'm not saying that you were intending to do this, but I don't live in China and India. I can't make them do anything differently, right? And I don't think whatever they do is an excuse for the United States not to do the right thing, right? So my priority is to make sure that we do what we need to do. We're the leaders of the free world. We need to demonstrate that and act. So that's my opinion.
Okay, very pragmatic in your choice. I'd still pick and choose your states, because future leaders at the federal level will be coming out of those states, whether it's senior members of Congress, the Senate, or a governor potentially becoming the next president of the United States. So I get you have to narrow your focus and all that. Okay, cool, thank you. Yeah.
What kind of changes would you like to see, do you think would be most beneficial from a climate standpoint to the permitting process as it is right now?
Yeah, so once again, I'm just talking at the federal level, right? It just needs to be a ton faster, right? And so honestly, Congress is going to have to do a lot of the technical approach about what steps can be sped up or eliminated, but in terms of the outcome that we'd like to see, it's not that we want to green light anything. some projects go up for a permit that the answer's no, right? They're not good projects and they shouldn't be permitted, but it's about getting to that answer a lot faster. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So, Sarah, do you speak to younger people? I mean, would you be interested in talking to our Interact Club?
Yes. No, I mean, I have about a 2-year relationship with the Los Alamos High School Eco Club, and they're the reason I do this, right?
Okay. So
Great
I
club.
can put you in touch with
Yeah.
them.
That'd be amazing.
And you can talk to them, because they'll do projects and things, and if there's ideas that you think could be taken forward, they'll do it for you.
I would love that.
All right.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
A good way to connect them is you may have the Interact Club attend the Eco Club meeting. So get all, instead of trying to get them to your group, if those Eco Club meetings are well advertised and well published and in the same location.
Yes.
And so if you can get some of your Interact clubs to go to one of those meetings,
Yes.
it's a good way for them to engage with that group.
And so then would it be, Sarah would speak to the Eco Club, or do they already know you too well? I'm just thinking, like, you bring a new message for Interact, I don't know that the kids.
I'd love to go to one of their meetings, but I
Yes.
do also think, like, if they're interested in climate-related activities, then joining forces with the Eco Club is the next logical step, for
And
sure.
would it be an idea too to invite the Eco Club to come and speak at the Interact Club?
Yeah.
You know, with
Yeah.
what they're doing and things like that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So
thank you.
real quick, if you'll stick around after we do our 4-way test so that I don't fine Vince for leaving without doing the 4-way test. Everyone would please stand, we'll do the 4-way test, and then we'll have